Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to do an overlay with a Aura airbrush design. If you're someone who gets nervous about doing designs you've never done, don't even worry about it. It's really hard to kind of mess this design up. First things first, I always go and make a coffee before I do my nails. I didn't do anything special here. I just kind of really wanted an iced coffee, so there it was. I get a lot of questions about how I make my overlays look super natural, and I also get a lot of questions about how long do your nails have to be to get this look. I will say you don't need a lot of length, but you do want some length, especially depending on how long your nail beds are. I always grow my nails out past the length that I actually want them to be, because when you do file them and shape them, they are going to get a little bit short by default. So I really always go like square with like soft edges. I never really do like super sharp square, but really depending on how I'm feeling. For my cuticle work, I push my cuticles back first, and then I go in with 3 different drill bits. I did not record all of them in this video because by the time I posted it and people were asking me that in the comments, I had already filmed this video, but I am working on a new one right now that I will post in a couple days with a more detailed cuticle prep, because cuticle prep does go a long way and it does play a role in how you get your nails to look natural. So I use 3 different drill bits. This one doesn't look like it's doing much, but trust me, it's like one of my favorites. My cuticles period is one of my favorite steps about doing nails. I always finish by cutting my cuticles. I don't cut too much. I know a lot of people cut a lot. They really go in when they do this step. I just find that it's not really necessary all the time. I mean, it can be, but if you are pretty much keeping up with your cuticle care, then you don't really need to take off too much. Then I go in with a sanding band. This is also one of my favorite drill bits because I think it just makes the nail look super natural and polished and ready to go for whatever you're going to do to it, whether you put tips on it or whether you do an overlay or whether you do structured gel or buy-up or whatever. It just really like brings the nail together for whatever you're about to do. And then after this step, I always go in with my primer. I use a Young Nails acid-free protein primer, something like that. I've been using that for a very long time. And for my overlay, I go in with small beads. I prefer to go in smaller than larger and then just wipe off whatever I don't need. I think some people do like 1 bead when they do an overlay. I think it really just depends on your preference. I go in smaller because I like to do very, very little filing when I do acrylic, whether I'm doing an overlay or tips or whatever. I don't like to go in with a lot of filing. So for a long time now, I do my acrylic as smooth as possible. So it might take me a little, like an extra minute or 2, but I feel like I make up time for that by not having to do like super excessive filing. So again, I go in with really small beads, and I also think this is what helps me get a super natural overlay. I just don't like mine to be too thick. I like it to look like something similar to a gel manicure as possible. So I really go in with a thin layer of acrylic, not too thin because you don't want it to like come off or like chip, but just like thick enough to where you can tell there's something on there, but not like too thick where it's like bulging off the nail. So even when I do my cuticle beads, again, I make sure I'm holding my finger down because you don't want that acrylic to run backwards onto the skin. Always make sure you're holding it away from the skin, because that just helps you with like gravity and the acrylic running all over the place. So after I do this part, I go in with a really fine buffer. It's not really too aggressive at all. Also, I've been really wanting to use that brown, so that's why I have those 2 upside down like that. But again, this part is optional depending on how smooth you lay your acrylic. I don't do too much filing here, like I said, so it just really depends on how you like to lay yours. I then use this color. Again, this is a pro tip. Some of you guys may already know this, but whatever polish you were running low on, turn it upside down, and most of the time I can always get like another 5 or 6 uses out of it before I just throw it away. I do that with all of my gel, including like my gel top coats, or really, like I said, any gel that I have. I always make sure I turn it upside down before I throw it away, because there's always so much more at the bottom of the bottle. So I go with this color. It's A109. It's by Beetles. This color did come in a kit, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it on its own. But really, any dark, deep chocolate brown that you have would work for this. This is just one of my favorite gel colors. Like, you know how when you find something that you really like and then you like just don't want to let it go? That's how I feel about this, and I'm pretty sure that I won't be able to find this exact color, because I always try to find these colors that come in kits on their own, and I've even thought about repurchasing the kit just to get the color out of it, but most of the time they don't even sell the kits anymore. So this is a second coat of it. I do 2 coats of it. Then I go on with like this light brown. It could be any light brown, just anything that's a little bit lighter than the base that you've already used. Something a little bit more like on the caramel brown side, because you do want it to kind of stand out a little bit. Now, this is how I do my Aura nails and how I use my airbrush. When you're using it, make sure you're always having your hand in a circular motion. You don't want to keep your hand still, because then it'll spray out too pigmented in one spot. So always make sure that you're moving your hand. That's how you create like a seamless blend. And like I said, you don't want any harsh lines. So always move it. Never stay in one spot when you're using your airbrush, because it will get super bold and like super intense in one spot really quick. It's happened to me a few times. So always make sure you're constantly moving your finger. And I stay away from the cuticle, and I stay away from the tip. I like to kind of try to keep this in the center of the nail if you can control it. So that is pretty much how I do my Aura nails. This was a really, really simple Aura nail tutorial, but like I said, I got a lot of questions about it, so I was so happy to make this and record this video for you guys. Let me know what you want to see, and let me know if you try this look. This might be my favorite Aura nails that I've ever done. But okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in my next video.